Oral questions by members.
Leader of the Official Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Premier says he has his elbows up, but let's look at the results. Trade with the USA is up, it's down with Asia. Ships are being built out of British Columbia. The ability to move our oil and get international prices is being blocked. 70,000 people left this province. And now, Mr. Speaker, Nutrien just chose Washington State for over $1 billion project, driven out of this province, walking away for an opportunity for people in this province to prosper. The Premier of Saskatchewan warned the Premier, saying he needs to stop his dangerous political rhetoric, saying it's, and I quote, disappointing and not being part of Team Canada, end quote. It's obvious nobody seems to want to work with this Premier. So why has the Premier's elbow-up approach driven this kind of an investment out of BC into Washington State?
Mr. Premier.
Well, thank you, Honourable Speaker. Well, you know, first of all, just so that the member and everyone in the House is clear, his list, supposed list of offences by this government, just to choose one, the idea that the population of this province has been decreasing. I mean, every single person in British Columbia knows that we have seen epic population growth in this province over the last few years. And in fact, it has resulted in huge demand for schools and hospitals and other services, but also brought huge opportunities for our province as we grow. He is wrong on a number of counts. But here's one where, and this might be surprising, we may share a perspective. It is unacceptable. It is deeply disturbing and problematic that Nutrien decided to go to Washington State instead of coming to British Columbia. On multiple occasions, Honourable Speaker, just for the members' knowledge, for all members' knowledge, I specifically raised the issue of potash with the Premier of Saskatchewan, saying how happy I was that his products were coming through British Columbia, how excited I was about expansion work they were doing in Saskatchewan, and how we had to work together to get that product to international markets. With the Prime Minister, on multiple occasions, advocating for port expansion in Prince Rupert, in Delta Port, and the RB2 expansion. Support for the Canada West proposal to address bottlenecks across the country, limiting trade access to our ports, slowing productivity at the ports. Relentless advocacy for our ports, for expansion, for Saskatchewan's goods to get to market. And despite that, never once did the Premier of Saskatchewan raise with me that Nutrien was considering Washington State, that there was an issue that we had to work together on. Instead, he and the leader of the Conservative Party were having secret meetings with the Premier of Alberta about a non-existent pipeline project that undermines support for major BC projects that will employ thousands of people and bring billions of dollars into this country. I am disappointed that we didn't have the opportunity. I am advocating with the Prime Minister and with the Premier of Saskatchewan that we work together to expand our ports to get goods to market.
Leader of the Official Opposition, supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, the Premier has the ability to spread fertilizer, but he doesn't have the ability to distort facts. And the fact is very clear. There's no secret meetings. I didn't fly out to Alberta or to Saskatchewan. I had a few phone calls with premiers, and we didn't even talk about a particular project. We talked about the need to move this. But, you know, the Premier seems to like I say, making up his own facts. But here is something, though, I think that is really worth talking about. So Premier talks about Nutrien and talks about talking to the Premier of Saskatchewan about trying to get this project in BC. Well, I find that interesting because I actually spoke with the Premier of Saskatchewan as well, who expressed their significant concerns about the challenges of trying to get something done in BC. And Nutrien itself cited congestion, bottlenecks, labour issues, reliability, and the most important issue, uncertainty about dealing with British Columbia. And that is purely a failure of this government and their policies and approach and the incompetence in not being able to land a project like that in British Columbia. So I'll ask the Premier a simple question. Why didn't he use every tool in the toolbox, the same type of tools he used to block projects, to actually make sure this could be delivered for people in British Columbia?
Mr. Premier.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The name of the company is Nutrien, not Nutrient.
Members,
Members, just wrong. British Columbia has 4 times more major projects on the board than any other province in Canada. The reason we are able to do this is that we take the exact opposite approach of what the member has advocated. We're working with First Nations. We're having conversations with them. The member repeatedly advocated that this government terminate all conversations with First Nations. The member wants uncertainty. He wants us not to have major projects on the board. And the only possible reason why I can think that he continues to talk down our province, talk down our economy, advocate against our interests as a province is that he thinks it serves his interests. And that is a deeply problematic approach to the governance and his role as the Leader of the Opposition. If he had concerns about Nutrien, he could have easily raised them in this House while we were advocating for port expansion, while we were advocating for bottlenecks to be removed, and for the federal government to prioritize those things. The Premier of Saskatchewan never once raised this issue with me, but that is of no import at this moment. What is most important right now is that the federal government, the Premier of Saskatchewan, and I work together to get those goods to market, because that is a real project that will create real jobs, and that's what we should be working on, Honourable Speaker.